Yo, what's good, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to another Tyler Perry's review, Sistas review. This is season 3, episode 13, entitled Water Under the Bridge. If this is your first time coming to my channel, welcome. If you are a returning family member, y'all already know what it is and how it will always be. So we're going to jump right into this thing. I am not going to bore y'all with the first 7 minutes of this damn episode, okay? Um... That opening scene was entirely too long. It was entirely too long. Basically, it's Maurice and Sabrina being held at gunpoint by Q and his gang. And it was a classic Tyler Perry written scene. The repetitive dialogue was over the top. It was overkill. It was overkill. So we're going to move on. I'm not touching that scene. All you need to know is that Sabrina couldn't get into the safe, and she needed to call corporate in order to get this code. And we'll come back because I just can't. I just can't. That damn scene got on my nerves. It was 7 minutes, and it worked every nerve for 7 minutes. And like I said, we finna move on. So we get to Zach, and Zach is viewing a house that he potentially wants to purchase. The realtor was definitely enjoying what she was seeing. She was definitely enjoying looking at Mr. Zachary Taylor. So she asked him, was he married or was he engaged? And so he let her know that he was neither. He wasn't engaged and he wasn't married. However, he was seeing someone. And baby girl did look a little disappointed, you know what I'm saying? Because, Zach looked great in his suit. And, she was trying to see what was up. But, he knocked that down real quick. And so, he was like, so you're not going to help me because I'm seeing someone? And I was like, you know what? You don't look that good for this woman to forfeit her commission. Calm down, sir. Calm down. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't even do that. Please don't do that. We'll get back to them. Because after that, he walks away to look at the rest of the house. And, she enjoys looking at him from behind. And so she kind of, goes out of the view as well. So back at the bank, Q and the gang, they have fled the scene. And I believe Maurice was like, what's taking them so long? And then you hear the police sirens. I was like, help me. I told y'all I was trying to be less critical of this show, and I'm really trying. However, I am going to get in that ass today with this review from last night's episode. But, I'm going to try my best to do it in the most polite way possible. So let's go. Let's get it popping. So we hear the police sirens. And when Sabrina called corporate, like I stated earlier, she was actually giving them the code for a robbery in progress. Q thought that she was giving them her employer ID number, which was false. So when the police came in, the police let them know that they were safe and they were out of harm's way and that they had 40 police, around the perimeter. So either they were going to catch them or at least make sure that no harm was going to come to Sabrina and Maurice. The police did ask, did anyone of them know, the perpetrators or what have you? And Sabrina was like, he did. And Maurice, he was embarrassed. Like, he was embarrassed that it happened because he started blaming himself later on. But they basically mentioned that they needed to take Sabrina and Maurice's statement about, what happened. And so even in the midst of that, I think the white police officer touched Maurice or whatever. He kind of made like a joke about it. And I'm just like, this is why sometimes I have such a huge issue with Tyler, because you're not going to tell me that these two people were held up at gunpoint. And not only was it just Q with the gun, he had 2 other men who had guns as well. However, that scene did destroy the narrative that some fans were making that Jacoby was going to be a part of this robbery, that he was, in it with Q or whatnot. They thought it was going to be Q, Alonzo, and Jacoby. And I was just like, y'all gonna get off Jacoby. He ain't that bad. He may not, he's young. So if there is an interview that Sky Black did on tvline.com, and I think we find out, I want to say they said that Jacoby is only 26 years old. So Sabrina has him by 10 years. So, I don't know if y'all have ever messed with a younger person, whether you man, female, man, woman, whatever. 9 times out of 10, when you mess with a younger person, you are a little bit more advanced than they are for the most part sexually. Not all the time, but sometimes. And when you put it on them just right, they don't know how to act. They lose their mind, kind of like Hayden, but we're going to get to him later. So back at the bank, excuse me, not at the bank, at the airport, Danny, she's at work when El Fuego from All the Queen's Men appears. If y'all haven't watched it, go watch. All the Queen's Men is on BT Plus. You will not be disappointed. So El Fuego, remember, he went to college with Danny and the girls. And so he obviously has a little thing for Danny. And so we find out that they had an encounter, I guess, while in college. And, El Fuego thought it was a sexual encounter. However, Danny let him know that it was actually her thigh that he was grinding on. It wasn't anything else. And so, Danny was trying hard. She was trying really hard not to give in to El Fuego's advances. And so he was like, won't you come to the club? I got you and your girls. I get you a table, bottles. And she was like, and parking, valet and the tip. But he was like, I got you. And she was like, oh, you got it like that, huh? And he was like, yeah, like I'm winning. I'm doing this thing. And so she was like, all right. The way Danny was looking at him, I know some of us have already seen the preview, and we know that I believe they are going to have sex because we do see El Fuego at Danny's house and they like going at it. So, yeah. So we know that we don't know if they go all the way because the extended preview that they showed on the after show for the mid-season finale gave us that little, tidbit. But like I stated, we don't know if they actually went all the way or not. We don't know that. So he was like, Danny, after he told her what he was going to do, like he'll provide everything, Danny was like, well, I'll think about it. And so we already know that there is going to be an episode, and it should be coming up soon, where the ladies do end up going to the strip club. So she takes him up on his offer of going out to Eden. So then when Danny said, I'll think about it, I'm like, girl, your ass going. Danny can't turn down nothing for free. It don't matter what it is. Danny, our girl Danny, is not turning down anything that's free, especially not being around scantily clad men with great bodies, waving that thing in front of you. Danny, she's definitely going. So Karen, who father? All right. So Karen is at the shop and she's finishing up a client. Pam is aggravating, but Pam is so funny to me. I know a lot of people don't like her, but Pam brings a certain element to the show. She brings a certain element to Karen's character that I actually do enjoy watching. It took a minute for me to get there because in the beginning, I did not care for the character of Pam. So Pam basically was like, she about to bounce too. And so, Karen was like, I know. And, she was telling her that, majority of the clients on the schedule, they've already rescheduled. Not rescheduled, they canceled their appointment. And so it was like, dang, man, I kind of felt bad for Karen in that sense because we know that she's still paying back her loan to Andy because Andy gave her the loan to, to get the shop up and running. So I'm like, dang, man, this couldn't have come at a worse time. However, at the same time, it came at a good time because, Zach gave Karen that check. So, I understand Pam being concerned about her job because I would too. I don't blame her for that. So Pam brings up the check that Zach gave Karen. And so Karen was surprised, like, how the hell does she know this? And so she was like, I really didn't know, but, you basically confirmed what I was thinking. And so she was like, well, how much did he give you? Oh, and she was like, I think she said, like, enough to keep you quiet or something like that, she said. And so Pam was like, isn't it ironic that, you was with Zach while he was broke? And she made this facial expression like she couldn't even understand why the hell Karen was with Zach while he was broke. But she was like, isn't it interesting that, basically God is using him, to deliver you out of this financial situation that you're in. And so, she was like, are you upset? And Karen was like, no. And she walked to the back and Pam was like, yeah, she mad. So Karen calls Zach. Lord Jesus. So she calls Zach from her cell phone and she realizes that she is still blocked. So she calls him from the work phone. He looks at his phone. He knows who it is and he picks up. So, it was like small talk. You could tell like Zach had a little attitude or what have you. but she was thanking him for the check, and she told him about, the financial situation that she was in with, the guy taking her clientele. And at this time, the only person who knew that information was Pam and Aaron, I believe, because she hadn't told the girls about it. And so that was going on, and she was like, it was perfect timing. And Zach was like, yeah, kind of like, you basically like how you had perfect timing with me or whatnot. And he was just like, I'm just thankful that I was able to help you the way that, that you helped me. And so she asked him why was she blocked? And, he was like, he was like, oh, my bad. I just felt it was better this way, especially, with everything that's going on. So she invites him out to dinner, and he was like, dinner? And she was like, yeah, I want to talk to you. And so Zach declines. Zach hung up that phone so quick, I laughed, okay? But you know what? I was glad that Zach did that. For several reasons, but I only touch on a few. And so I knew that Tyler was going to do this. I knew that Tyler was going to make, and I talked about it in my last review. I talked about how it seems like Zach is making an intentional attempt to move on with his life, even though he still loves Karen. Like, we're not going to throw that fact out, even though he still loves Karen. And Karen still loves him. However, she is allowing her love for Zach to hinder her from moving on with her life. And I'm like a lot of people, and I thank everybody who reached out to me via social media. And, I feel the same way y'all feel. I'm getting sick and tired of this Zach and Karen storyline. Either you're going to be together, damn it, or you're not. And you saw a lot of other comments that was like, that's what Karen get. And Zach don't want you. He with Fatima. It is lunacy. Like, if we keep it all the way funky, all the way real, it is lunacy to think that Zach does not want Karen, because he does. I think, because you think about it, why did Zach have like this attitude? Why did Zach have such this attitude? Because when you think about their last interaction, it was cool. It was about them moving forward, moving on with their lives. So I'm trying to understand why he was acting the way that he was. Because I'm like, that's Zach right there. Because when he hung up the phone, he told me, now she all on me. Now she all on me. She got 3 years. I said, first of all, calm down. This is the first time that this girl has called you since you gave her that check. So don't even go there. And secondly, yes, y'all were together for 3 years, but 2 of them years, you weren't worth the damn. Them last 2 years, you weren't worth the damn. So when I look at Zach and I see all the praise he's getting, I'm happy that Zach is able to use his intelligence for good use, as far as him being great with money and, this investment situation. But I'm like, at the same time, nothing about Zach has changed. The only thing that has changed with Zach is the number of zeros in his account. And I think the popular thing to do is to make Karen, out to be this bitter person. But she's not that. This is what we are seeing is classic. It is a classic situation when you've done someone wrong. Not saying that Karen is innocent, because she's not. But the reality is Zach dogged this girl out, and she allowed him to do it. Dogged her out. Then you get with someone else, and you basically tell her all the things that your ex didn't do, how your ex made you feel, where your ex wasn't adequate in certain areas. Yet you paint yourself. He didn't paint himself to be innocent, but he did not paint himself to be this trash ass dude that he was to her. That's the part about this whole situation that I do not like. Because even now, Fatima is still under the pretense that when Zach and Karen slept together and, had sex in her office, that Karen was the aggressor. And that is so far from the truth. So I will always have an issue with Zach, because he's not honest. He's not honest about that. So if Karen and Fatima ever do speak about it, they have 2 different perspectives of that night, because what Zach told Fatima was not accurate. And that's why I was gonna say the F word. Can't say that. But I don't really rock with him like that, because he's a liar. And also I just feel like Karen is in this place where it's like, we'll get to that in a minute, because I'm going to go more in detail when we get to her conversation with Sabrina. So after that, we get to what happened? We get to I think Zach and Fatima. So Fatima, she comes over to the house to look at it, because it seems like Zach can't make a decision without a woman. Y'all look at this little stuff. Don't overlook the little stuff, because Zach is doing the same thing with Fatima like he did with Karen. It's just in a different it's just in different spectrums. You know what I'm saying? He can't make a decision without Fatima. I need you here. I need you to look at it. I don't know about this. So just watch what he's doing. It's very evident what's going on, but y'all just, y'all just watch. So, she was basically telling him like she passed, I think she said like a preschool, 2 daycares, and he was looking at her like she was pregnant. And I'm like, so y'all ain't nobody using condoms on this show. I'm like, my God, we ain't got to see a condom every time y'all have sex, but damn, can we at least see a wrapper on the nightstand or something? You thinking that this girl pregnant? I said, oh, Father God, that is the last thing. That is the absolute last thing that any of us needs to happen on this show. Nobody needs to have a baby. Nobody needs to be pregnant. But she was like, no, for the resale, like it's a great, basically an opportunity, because if someone wants to move in with children, they have options. And so he was like, oh yeah. She was like, I ain't trying to tamper with this body. I'm trying to tamper with it. I said, here go the sexual innuendos. I knew it was coming, because they can't go one episode without sexual, I ain't gonna say explicit, but they cannot go an entire episode without it being led by a sexual conversation or them just plain not having sex. I would be thoroughly surprised when we have Fatima and Zach in the same frame on camera and sex is not an option. Like, I don't know if we'll ever see that, because I'm like, that's all they do. But anyway, she came and she viewed the house and she was happy for him and told him that he deserved it and all that other good stuff like that. He was like, why you always do that? Like, you say something to make me feel good. And I'm thinking, so when she stopped doing those things, what you gonna do? When she's not available to help you make a decision about your life and about your money and your investments, what are you gonna do? So that's how, that scene went. So, excuse me. So after that, Karen goes to the bank to deposit her check. So when she gets there, she's immediately met by a police officer, and Sabrina was like, no, I know her, it's okay. And so they basically tell Karen what happened, and she just want to make sure that, that Maurice is okay, but more so worried about Sabrina, making sure Sabrina is okay and everything like that. So basically, she tells Sabrina she's there to deposit the check, but it can wait. And so she was like, no, we could do it now. So she goes and to deposit the check in Karen's account, and she sees who name is, who's giving her this money. And Lord, this is the thing that gets me, okay? If you watch the after show for the mid-season finale, I thoroughly believe, okay, and I could be wrong, this is just my personal assessment, the character of Karen, I believe that Tyler is writing this character as of now. He's writing this based on the woman who broke his heart all them years ago. Because on the show, he asked Ebony, she was like, do you think that, Karen is going to like try to roll back to Zach how old girl tried to do me? And I'm just like, no, that's not the same. I said, Tyler, we all know, excuse me, even if we don't, I guess Zach is supposed to be loosely based on Tyler. He was down and out, he was homeless, he was this, and then, he got money, which is the same thing, the same parallels we saw with Zach's character. So when, they were doing the transaction, and so, I almost said Novi. Sabrina was like, oh, that's so nice of him. And Karen was like, yeah, it's really sweet. I'm like, how is this sweet? He's basically paying you what he owes you. It's nothing sweet about that. He's honoring his word and doing what he said that he was going to do. Like, don't do this, sis. Don't do this. And so, Sabrina was like, are you feeling Zach? And, she was like, I love him. I love him. I always love him. It's like, yeah, but are you feeling him? And then she was like, well, maybe I judged him too hard. That's that second guessing. That's the second guessing thing that people do when you feel like, and I've been there myself, so I do have compassion when it comes to Karen, because I think that when you have been in a situation like that, excuse me, and I have been in a situation where it didn't start off, it ended up being very toxic and controlling. It didn't start that way. And when I made the decision to finally like leave and, not even distance myself, but separate myself completely from the situation, I had second, third, and fourth thoughts like, dang, did I do the right thing? Did I give up too soon? Was change on the verge of happening and I walked out before it was able to take place? Like, those are the thoughts that go through your mind. So I don't blame her for feeling that way, but I do have an issue with the fact that I look at these women, because even Sabrina, when Karen was walking out, she was like, all right, Karen Taylor, which is Zach's last name. And I'm thinking, where is the sisterhood really? Like, for me, it is very hard for me to buy into the fact that this is a sisterhood. I know the show is called Sistas, but I'm thinking, are they really sisters? Because I'm thinking, there is no voice of reason within this group at this moment. So it's like, when I looked at, but it's hard for me to expect the sisters to do much, because all of them jacked up. Like, every last one of them is jacked up. So it's like, who is going to be that person that's going to adjust the crown to say, hey, sis, this man told you that it was over. He told you that he wanted to be with Fatima. I know that you hurt right now, but you got a good man who has gone at your pace, who has gone about this thing the way that you have wanted him to do. I've never seen you smile so bright. I've never seen you be this happy. Don't allow your past to keep you from this future that you're deserving of. Because let's not forget, Zach is still Zach. I'm not saying that Zach is a bad person. I'm not saying that Zach is like this. He's an asshole to me. But I'm like, he's not such a bad person. However, he's not good for you. So don't let what you see now cloud you. And I know in Karen's mind, she may be dealing with that concept of, I was with him when he didn't have nothing, when he was down and out, and now he's with someone else, and she gets to reap the benefits of him now. That is a true feeling. You know what I'm saying? That is a true emotion, and I get it. It's just that this thing has gone on for so very long. It's like, Tyler, let this woman move on. That's what makes me think, like, what is your issue, Tyler Perry? You know what I'm saying? Let her move on, because the storyline it just doesn't make sense at this point. And I know Sabrina asked her, well, how is Aaron? And she was like, he's good. Like, he's fine. And so Sabrina was like, oh, he's fine and good? Mm-hmm. She did tell Sabrina that, Aaron asked her to marry him. And, he wasn't joking. And so, Sabrina really wasn't here for it. And so Karen was like, is it no because you don't like him? And she was like, no, I just think you guys need to, give it a little more time, get to know each other a little better. I'm like, you the last one. You need to be telling somebody, get to know somebody a little bit better. But we'll get to, Jesus, we'll get to Sabrina situation a little later. But that's what I want to see. Like, in my sisterhood, I don't talk to my friends every single day, but when they call, they need me, I am there. If I can't be there physically, I'm there emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, if it comes to that. But my thing with them is, I want them to be happy, and I want them to live their best life and be them best selves. And like I stated, when it's time for you to let go of a situation, baby girl, I know it's hard. Or if it's a dude, you and this girl been going back and forth for years, it's time to move on. But the thing, Zach ain't got no friends. And the weird dynamic is, you have Zach and Fatima, and neither one of them have friends, like true friends, honestly. That's why Fatima and Zach will never work. I'm sorry. I know people got pissed off right now. I already know that. However, the sisters make Zach relevant. Fatima does not make Zach relevant. And so because he really is not connected with them anymore, because he's not with Karen, just watch. Y'all gonna start seeing some stuff. And I know some of y'all cussing me out right now. I get it. And I don't mind it. I don't mind it. But I'm just telling y'all. I'm telling y'all what's going to happen. Watch. You're going to be like, that little heifer was right. But anyway, so she leaves, and, she makes sure that she tells Maurice that, she's sorry about what happened. And, Maurice and Sabrina have a moment, because he's like, basically, I know it wasn't real. I know that it wasn't like that. And my thing is this, I didn't have any sympathy for Maurice in that moment, because my thinking is, you, my brother, you knew this man stole from Calvin. I knew Maurice was jacked up when he did not call the police and get that dude arrested for stealing Calvin's checks. That was the number one thing. And this is supposed to be your friend. I got a problem with that. But see, Maurice is not a good friend, because Maurice slept with Q, who also slept with Maurice's friend in Calvin's bed. So I'm like, the level of friendship in these groups is jacked the hell up. You know what I'm saying? So I don't expect much from Maurice as a friend is concerned. And so he was like, I knew it wasn't real, but it was something that I wanted because I'm lonely. And I'm like, baby, I know it's like to be lonely. However, don't stoop that low for you to be fulfilled in some way, because he did not fulfill your loneliness. He just provided you with sexual gratification. That's all that was. But that's how that happened. And, Sabrina is really concerned about him. So as Karen leaves, she ends up calling Andy and Danny, and she's letting them know what happened. And they were like, oh, I'm on my way. She was like, no, they're about to close up the bank. She's going home. Let's just meet up after y'all get off from work. And so she told Danny, she was like, Danny, please don't come high. And then it was like, what kind of shit is that to say to me, Karen? Yeah, of course I'm coming high. I said, you know what? This girl is a trip. This daddy is a mess. But so after that scene, we get Andy and Hayden. So Andy catches Hayden in Fatima's office, and not only that, he's going through the stuff that is on her desk. So Andy was basically like, what are you doing in here? And he was like, oh, I'm looking for Fatima. Well, damn it, obviously she ain't in this office, so why you here? But you know what? Let me say this. As much as I do not like Hayden, as much of a pest he is, if I was Hayden, my attitude towards Andy would forever be kiss my ass. Because if we think about it, the one person that Hayden has been great to has been Andy's ass. Andy's selfish, trifling ass. When she needed help with the tax situation, when all that stuff was going on with her and Gary, Hayden was a little skeptical about helping her, because even though they worked in the same office, they really didn't have a rapport with each other. They did not know each other. But because Hayden knew Fatima, and Fatima had offered, I think, to go out on a date with him if he helped her, he did. And he gave Andy, everything she needed to do, so on and so forth. Even after that, he got word that, Gary had been released from jail, and he, excuse me, and he really wasn't in a right frame of mind. And he was telling Andy how she needed to be careful. He could walk her to her car, and so he was like, I just want to be a good friend. And Andy was like, friend? Like, we're not friends. She basically spit in that man's face. And I'm like, you the one person that this dude has really come through for. Even when, she said all that to him, and he still protected her on that episode when, Gary had basically cornered Andy in the parking garage. And if it wasn't for Hayden, he would have followed Andy home. But Hayden backed up his car so that Gary could not get out. So I will give Hayden props for that. I'm not going to act like he hasn't done good deeds. However, he's only done that for Andy, and she has basically spit in his face. So like I said, if I was Hayden, my attitude towards Andy would always be kiss my ass, in all bold and 23 plus 52 font. So yeah, So, and Fatima returned shortly, and I think Andy was like, long break. I said, okay, Fatima, don't let that get in your head, because that was like, man, them girls, they leave all the time. You know what? Okay, but see, Fatima is not a manager. Fatima is not a partner. Fatima is not a supervisor, and Fatima doesn't own her own business. So she's not like the girl. She just can't get up and leave and be out as long whenever she wants to. But when she comes, Andy tells her, that she found Hayden in her office going through her stuff. And Fatima was basically like, oh, hell no. She went in there and was, going off on him or whatever. And then Hayden tells her, knock on my door next time before you come in. I would have slapped the piss out of him. God, he works a nerve. He really works a goddamn nerve. So Sabrina and Maurice, they're back at his house. They're trying to calm down from the robbery, and they're talking, and he's expressing how, both of his parents basically disowned him because of his lifestyle, and how, he feels like if your parents can disown you, if your parents cannot love you anymore based on who you are, then you don't really have much hope that someone else is going to love you either. So I could understand his perspective when it came to that. And, Sabrina was trying to give him, that, there are great gay men out there, and I know. And he was like, no, I'm just going to be this lonely person, and this is my life. And then, I'm going to tell you straight up, if I'm talking to my friends and I give them one word of encouragement, and if they still with that mess, the conversation is over. Because I don't like listening to people bash themselves. I don't like listening. Everyone has their moments, and I think you should give that person that moment. But when that becomes constant conversation, I have to distance myself, because that's very negative. And so that's just where, that's just where Maurice is. Excuse me. That's just where he is. So I do understand. Then lo and behold, white chick, I don't know her name, the white heifer comes out butt ball naked in the darn refrigerator. Then we see Calvin's butt ball naked ass follows her. And I'm like, wait a damn minute. Now, y'all help, because I know I ain't tripping with this timeline, okay? Now, Calvin left Sabrina's house at 6 a.m. in the morning because he doing a couple of hours. She was going to have to get up and go to work. That was last week's episode. We're still in the same day. Matter of fact, we only a few hours, so it could be like maybe 10 o'clock. I'm going to give him 11 o'clock at the very latest. So you telling me your nasty ass got out of Sabrina's bed and then you went to go pick up white chick, took her back to your house, screwed her, and this is what I said. No man. Oh God, me and my friend was going back and forth with this situation here. No man better not say nothing to me about Karen sleeping with Zach in that office, and then a few days later she had sex with Aaron. I don't want to hear nothing. At least she didn't have sex with them in the same day, within a few hours of each other. Okay, because we know that's what Zach did, but we gonna get off on that. Y'all not gonna be coming for my women on this show. Yeah, they foul. They foul and messy. Okay, I get it, but we are not going to act like these men don't be doing the same, this filthy, trifling stuff. I'm like, damn, Calvin, you literally just had sex with Sabrina. Are you serious right now? Yes, the hell he was serious. I said, Father God, in the name of Jesus. And then this thing that pissed me off too about Calvin. Calvin was the one who stated, I understand that Sabrina has not told him that she loves him, and I respect her for not saying those words knowing that she does not fully mean them. Calvin was the one who stated, if we decide to see someone else, let's just let each other know. Okay, that was their agreement. It ain't been 5 hours, Calvin. You couldn't keep your agreement for 5 hours? I'm like, damn. That's why I don't trust Calvin. That's why I don't like Calvin ass. I said it I think last season. I don't like him because I'm like, he comes off, oh, I just want somebody to love me. I'm just this. And this is what you do. If I was Sabrina, Calvin would not be getting in between my legs. Not no more, because none of y'all asses use condoms, nasty asses. So I'm just like, Lord Jesus. You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy. But anyway, I think I touched on everybody. That's the review for Sistas Season 3, Episode 13, Water Under the Bridge. And for my Patreon family, I'm going to do a special video because I normally do a bonus episode, a bonus review on Patreon every Sunday. We're really going to break down this sisterhood between these women and the dynamic between Zach and Karen and Aaron and all this good stuff like that, because I feel it's time, because, it's just time to do that. If you would like to be a part of my Patreon, the link will be in the description box. Make sure you click it and do all that stuff. So, this has been fun. This episode, okay, I ain't gonna go there, but this review has been fun. So I hope you guys enjoy it, listening to it just as much as I have enjoyed recording it. And until next time, I will holler at y'all later. Y'all be safe out there. 1